and those storms eventually pass.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because I'd known about the passing of your wife, and I wasn't, sometimes people don't want to go there or talk about things like that, but I think you tied it in perfectly to, like you had mentioned, things that are happening even present moment, worldly that we're all dealing with. So this one, Vertimatic and I, we talked about this on our show the other day, and I'm not a musician, and I've tried to play Stryper songs on guitar, and I can't even try, so I give up on that. But anyway, this tag, and I guess this even ties into, like that track, Honestly, that was one of your first big hits, and I know you mentioned the high, vibrato, and people thinking you might even be a female singer at first, and then, in conjunction with that, being known for a ballad, but also this hair metal tag that gets thrown out there that, I know it's, the style and the look that happened way back in the 80s when bands like Stryper were, first around, but what is your opinion on that tag? Does it frustrate you? Does it irritate you? You just kind of accept it for what it is? Because I think it kind of cheapens the musicianship and the music, in my view, but you're the musician.
It does.
So
it really does. Because when I think of hair bands, I think of Poison. And that's not to slam Poison, but we're nothing like Poison in any way, shape, or form. So when we get tagged hair band, it's definitely disconcerting. It's not an accurate description of the band, I don't think. We're a hard rock metal band. Yeah, it just so happens that we had a lot of hair, and the hair kept getting higher, and like any other band from that era. I mean, at one point, Guns N' Roses was a hair band. Let's be real. I mean, every band from that era at some point was a hair band, except the guys that didn't have hair. And, it just, and then the clothing too. It was all about the clothing and the costumes, and Ray Brown was the guy that made them for most bands, Whitesnake, Bon Jovi, you name it. And, I don't want to say we got caught up in that, but we were part of that era. And with that comes labels. And then you add to that the Christian label. And, I always thought it was very funny and very odd to label music or a band Christian just because they sing about Christ. Because, all the bands that sing about Satan aren't labeled satanic bands. They're just labeled metal bands. Slayer, who would pick any band that has pentagrams and sings about the devil, and they're not called, so what does it feel like to be a satanic band? But with Stryper, because we sing about Jesus, like, what does it feel like to be a Christian band? And that tag is always thrown around so loosely, and I've never liked it. I feel that it limits what we do and continues to do so. And I've also said many times, and I'll say it again, the limitations are wide, and, there are many. And it's like when I walk in a store when our album comes out, and you go into a store that still sells hard copies, and you say, yeah, I'm looking for the new Stryper album, and the guy points to the back corner of the store and says, oh, it's back there under the Christian section. And then I'm standing there looking at the new Judas Priest album at the front of the store on display. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about with limitations.
And labeling, all the above.
Yeah, we're a metal band. Yeah. We're a metal band, and we should be at the front of the store under the same display as Judas Priest. Why shouldn't we? So that's what really frustrates me, and makes me want to change things. And then fans who cling and hold firmly to the Christian tag, when they hear me say that, they get offended. Yeah. And they think that I'm basically dissing and walking away from our Christian faith, and it's not that at all. I mean, how have we, in one way, shape, or form, walked away from our Christian faith? Our albums are as bold as you can get and as Christian as you can get in terms of lyrically. But man, I just don't like the Christian tag. I think it sucks. I think it's silly. I really do. Christian metal. It's just, come on. We're a metal band.
I think I've actually gone to stores and taken your Stryper CDs from the Christian section and moved them over to the rock metal, just for what it's worth. They probably got put back by the store clerk, but
it's so interesting. I mean, people are smart enough to figure out what's Christian and what's not. They don't need a label to tell them. Sure. that's just my opinion. I don't know.
I will say, I've got one more I wanted to ask you, but I will say that I've only been to a handful of your shows, unfortunately, because sometimes, you don't tour all the time and don't hit all the cities all the time. But, when you guys do that prayer at the end and you shut down like a raucous 1,000 rock and roll heavy metal fans and it ends up being dead silent and you guys are praying up there, it is really powerful. I would like to add, by the way, it's pretty awesome.
Hey, man, I tell you, there are very few people in this world that would argue that prayer is bad, and that would say prayer is bad. Most people welcome prayer. No matter what you believe or who you believe in, most people welcome prayer, especially in times of need. So when we end the show with prayer, it can be the most powerful moment of the show. Because there are people in the crowd who are hurting. There may be someone in the crowd who's losing a loved one, or who has terminal cancer, or who has just lost their job, or they're an addict, a drug addict, or alcoholic, and maybe they need prayer, and they came there with the hidden burden of, man, I wish I could get prayer. And then when we say a prayer for them at the end of the show, maybe it's the highlight of their night.
No doubt. Well said. Awesome. Thank you. Hey, just the last one I was going to ask you, then we can wrap. There's this, a lot of these, rock, heavy metal legends like yourself and Stryper and the other bands that we kind of had mentioned already through the show, like the Metallicas and the Maidens and the Priests of the world. Do you feel like there's at some point like a passing of the torch or a passing of the guard, or is there an obligation to help young bands like aging Peyton Manning might help out a young quarterback, for example, as a sports analogy? Or do you think that it's just, hey, you know what, everybody's got to make it on their own like you all did? What's your kind of sense to that? Because I feel like, where is that next generation of hard rock and heavy metal bands that they're going to carry this thing on?
Well, those that are worthy deserve, support. And what I mean by that is, take like Todd LaTorre, for example, who stepped into the Queensryche frontman position. Incredibly talented guy. At the time when he joined Queensryche, he was younger, and up-and-coming guy that no one really knew a lot about. And Todd deserved support for many reasons, because he's got the heart and he's got the talent. And, it broke my heart to see some of the fans just tearing him to shreds early on when he first joined the band, because, they're diehards and they don't want change. And, they want Jeff to be the singer always for Queensryche. And, I got behind Todd and gave him 100% of my support, and still do. There are guys like that who are up and coming, as you said, to pass the torch to. And we need to really get behind them. There are some other people that, they just don't have the goods, so to speak. And a lot of people are supporting them, and I'm sitting there kind of scratching my head like, yeah, I'm not really getting it. I'm not getting that same feeling when I heard Rob Halford for the first time. I'm approaching 60, and my time left to do this isn't, 20 or 30 years, or maybe 10 years. I don't know, man. I never know. We don't know what tomorrow may bring, and all too well, we see this on a daily basis, that our time is precious here on earth. So, when I'm gone and when Stryper's gone, we need another band to kind of fill our shoes, and I'm sure that band is either out there now or forming now or prepping for the cause. So I'm there to get behind them for sure. Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. And and then it's a whole other topic of, different players coming into bands to keep bands going, like a Richie Faulkner, for example, who just, came into Priest. And look, you even filled in for Boston, right? So, I mean, it's kind of like
I love Richie.
Yeah.
I love Richie.
Yeah.
Richie's one of my favorites, and is such a true perfect fit for Priest. And then Boston, that was a short-lived run. I did one tour, and I was in the band for 4 years. There were a lot of high expectations and dreams of me continuing on and recording with them. I started writing songs and taking them to Tom, and he really loved what he was hearing, and there was a bright future. And then everything changed, and I realized that wasn't going to work out.
Yeah, well, I thought you did a remarkable job in that band as well. And so, Michael, thank you so much for your time. In closing, is there anything else that you just kind of want to add, or anything that we didn't touch on as it relates to the new album coming out on September the 4th? Just anything else before we wrap today's discussion?
Well, I mean, the album's coming out September 4th, which, as we speak right now, it's a week away. And a new video, Do Unto Others. Really excited about that song. It's probably my favorite song on the album for so many reasons. And the video is powerful. It's a music video. We're in it. So it's not another lyric video. We shot that. The guys came out here and quarantined at my house, and we shot 2 videos, one for Do Unto Others and then Divider. And then we also shot 2 live on-demand albums, one being the new album in its entirety, the other being To Hell with the Devil. And the new album on-demand will be coming out in the next 6 to 8 weeks. And so excited. We figured if we can't bring a tour to people, we can bring a live show to their living rooms. So it's really cool, man. We're excited, and we've got so much planned, and the future is incredibly bright. And we're so happy that we're able to do what we do at the level that we're doing it at.
That's great. Well, Michael, thank you so much again. That was Michael Sweet from the band Stryper. Check out their new release on September the 4th, Even the Devil Believes. And, Michael, we wish you all great success, and thank you again for taking time with us today. We greatly appreciate it.
Hey, buddy, thank you so much, man. Much appreciated as well. And God bless you, and hopefully we'll see you out there on the road soon, okay?
Awesome. Likewise. Thank you so much.
Metal for Life.
Thanks for listening to Metal Mayhem ROC. Check out our websites at metalmayhemroc.com and metalforever.com for information on upcoming concerts, podcasts, archives, and all sorts of info. Please like, follow, and share with everyone, even your non-metal friends. Catch us next time on WLFE DB Radio.